So this is a brand new charcoal pencil right out of the box, and I'm going to show you how to sharpen it. So you can draw with it with the tip that comes out of the box, and you can sharpen it using, a standard pencil sharpener if you want to. But the problem with that is you're missing out on a whole range of expressive potential that the charcoal pencil can give you, that you just won't be able to access if you just leave it with this kind of sharpening. So, you can get straight lines, you can get some wider lines, but we can do even better than this. So this is what we're going to do. Here's the before and after. And so what we want is a longer amount of material showing at the tip, and we want not a straight taper, but kind of a curved taper. And at the end, I'll show you why. So so first step, take your pencil in one hand, and for this you will need this kind of X-Acto blade. So we're going to manually sharpen this basically by shaving off the wood very carefully. It is common for the charcoal to break when you try this, so it takes a little bit of practice, but basically you want to, at a pretty sharp angle, catch the edge of the wood and sharpen it off down to the charcoal. So I have this little box that I catch the shavings in. I'll do it over the paper so you can see it a little better. So I just kind of turn the pencil with my left hand and then push with my left thumb, push the blade along the edge. And of course you want to be careful, take your time. It's worth just going slowly with this. I find it kind of meditative. And you will get faster the more you practice this, but just take your time. And we want up to an inch, maybe about half an inch, somewhere in there, of actual charcoal showing. And you can see here, I'm starting to get there. When you get down to the charcoal itself, there may be a layer of glue in between the wood and the charcoal, and sometimes that takes a little extra care to either scrape it off with the blade, or sometimes you can peel it off a little bit with your fingers. But yeah, sometimes that can leave a pretty sticky residue if you don't get it off, and that gets in the way when you're drawing. So I have to try to get it all off. And I like to do this with several pencils at once, just because I often drop them when I'm drawing and then the tip breaks off. So I like to have backups ready to go, so I don't have to stop and do this in the middle of a drawing session. So that's about the length. You can go a little shorter or a little longer, but this is typically how far I would go. It's also usually about this point where I might accidentally break it, especially if I'm talking and recording a video at the same time as I'm doing this. So let me just get kind of an even cut around here. Okay. So move this out of the way. Normally that would go in the box, but okay. So step 2 is sandpaper. And you can see I've used this for a few different things, but and you don't have to have a fancy paddle like this. You can just buy sandpaper at the at the store, and probably it doesn't really matter how rough or fine it is. That just you know, obviously the rougher it is, the faster it will take off material. But basically what we want to do is we want to adjust the point slightly. So let's see, try to get it in focus. So right now it still has that kind of straight line along the edge here, and then a taper at the end. And what we want to do is just even it out slightly. And if your pencil is dull, this would also be the, like if this point wasn't here, this would be the point where you create a taper at the end. So we have a head start here because there's already a taper, and I'm just going to refine it slightly because it's almost ready to go. But if this had broken off, for example, I would be kind of tapering it down to a point using the sandpaper. And I'm just moving back and forth, and I'm slowly turning the pencil to get an even shape. And this really won't need much just because it had a point already. Okay, so after sharpening or after sanding, it usually has some kind of powdery residue left, and I'll either wipe that off with a paper towel or just draw with it to kind of get it off. So let me just scribble a little bit. Okay, so with this, and so yeah, the point is not like perfectly straight like that. What we want is like a slight taper to it, and that way on the paper it kind of glides across the paper like a pillow. We don't need it like extremely sharp, and we don't need it like straight all the way down. It's okay to have a little bit of a bump in there, and in fact that's usually a little better, so you can kind of see that it's not like perfectly sharp and straight all the way to the wood. But yeah, so basically with this sharpening technique, you can get a much wider range of expression. So I can still get my straight lines, I can easily draw shapes and circles, but I can get really wide and expressive marks. I don't have to worry that I'm gonna like run out of room on the charcoal to be able to make a mark. And yeah, you can get much like lighter marks with the side of the pencil, and much darker marks. And it's just a lot more responsive to your hand and your thoughts rather than having to kind of fight with the limitations of the pencil. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.